Welcome back to the Junk Room, everybody. It's me, the Junk Man, coming back at you with another video. And this time, we're going to take you back to 1999. But before that, as always, want to support this channel, head over to patreon.com. We got a lot of new stuff coming for supporters over there. And as always, StarWarsJunk.net to buy some cool t-shirts. Now let's talk about fans' reaction to the 1999 hit, The Phantom Menace. That's right, Star Wars was back after about 16 years. Before that, let's look back at 1998 when we got the first Star Wars Episode 1 trailer. Now, I'll be honest with you, this was an exciting time to be a Star Wars fan. I, myself, and a friend packed up my car and we drove over an hour and a half to the south side of Atlanta to watch The Waterboy. No, we didn't go because we were huge Adam Sandler fans. We went so we could see the trailer to Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. That's right, the Phantom Menace trailer was attached to Waterboy, not just before the movie, but even after the credits. It was also attached to Meet Joe Black and The Siege. But if we're going to pay to something, I guess it was better to see The Waterboy. At least that's what we thought at the time. But this is how big the trailer was. Selected theaters got the trailer and attached it at the beginning of a film and after the film. I can't think of any time in movie history where that has been done. And this was before YouTube, so the chances of seeing it online was slim. But this was huge. 16 years in the making, Star Wars was back. So before we get into talking about the reviews of The Phantom Menace, let's look at the reaction to the first teaser trailer. Now we're going to take you to the Star Wars news group. Now if you're a young kid, you might not know about news groups, or if you wasn't on the internet in the 90s and the early 2000s, you might not know what news groups are. It was like a message board that was hitting off the web. It wasn't really on a website. You had to use software to get to it, or AOL or some other program. But it was kind of like the Reddit back in the day. This is where your hardcore internet geeks hung out. But my good friend, this guy, I'm going to try to pronounce his name. I know it's something Eckhart Ladder, something like that. Not really sure. Anyway, he beat me to the punch on this video where I was going to give you fans' reaction to The Phantom Menace. But he dug around the message board on theforce.net and the Internet Movie Database. Now, I wanted to do this video before I saw his, and he almost discouraged me not to make it because he makes a lot better videos than I do. But I wanted to dig into the news group because this was the heart and soul of the Star Wars fan community. Sure, like I said, you had the message board on the websites, but this was more the place to hang out as a Star Wars fan. This is where the hardcore fans hung out. Don't get me wrong, we also hung out on message boards. But before we look at the fans' reaction to The Phantom Menace, let's look at their thoughts on the teaser trailer. And here's some of the best. The trailer that was shown in the theaters is a fake. None of that footage will be in the real movie. I'm a huge Star Wars fan, and it blew me away. I can't wait to see more of Ewan McGregor, Natalie Portman, and Danny Lloyd. There's a new bad guy, and he has a lightsaber with 2 light blades on it. I need to see this now. Does anyone have a file that works with Real Player? I drove 3 hours to see it, and it was the best 2 minutes of my life. This movie looks amazing, and every scene in the trailer looks outstanding, other than Yoda looking like Greg Kinnear. Looks good, but I got a feeling Lost in Space will be better. As you can see, most of the trailer reaction was positive, even for people that had to drive miles to see it. What about the movie itself? Did fans leave seeing The Phantom Menace excited, happy to see a new Star Wars film? Or was they upset? We're going to look at 2 different reviews. First, we're going to look at the bad reviews and then the good reviews. And I'll be completely honest, after looking over the old posts on the news groups, finding positive reviews are a lot harder. Even reviews of the film that liked the movie gave it a kind of a bad beating at times. Most of the reaction that liked it was just, I liked it. Now there were some that went over the top with enjoyment. Now before we get into the good reviews, let's go back to 1999 and read some of the reaction from Star Wars fans about The Phantom Menace.
Seen it before. Anakin, Luke, flying in and destroying the control station, Death Star, with help of R2, Gungan natives, Ewoks, fighting a battle as the Jedi try to shut down that installation, death of the old Jedi and passing of the flame to the new Jedi. Luke had to use a view screen to figure out what R2 was saying, yet Anakin just knew. But then again, he is the Messiah boy.
This movie is just a setup, and yes, setup is important. And this just doesn't get me going. I will admit The Phantom Menace doesn't make me care to see episode 2 or 3. Let's make it official. Star Wars is dead. Date of death, May 19, 1999. Rest in peace. Bring on Terminator 3. As for The Phantom Menace, I have learned that you can fight with someone till you're blue in the face on whether the film was good or not. But in the end, you will end up where you started at. Real Star Wars fans will get sick of being constantly attacked by Lucasfilm, Fox, and trolls who are being paid to defend it at all cost. Star Wars is dead. Hopefully George Lucas will have a massive heart attack and Lucasfilm will be bought out by Peter Jackson, who will once again bring magic to Star Wars.
Face it, Star Wars fans, Star Wars will die in 2005 with Episode 3. Lucas won't do Episodes 7 to 9. Ha! Trek, on the other hand, will last far longer afterwards. Voyager has 2 seasons left. Star Trek 10 is coming in 2001, and the new series is coming after Voyager. So sorry, Star Wars fans, you lose.
That's the bad look at the Phantom Menace reviews. To me, it's kind of funny to look at now because a lot of the same arguments then you kind of hear today. And you kind of feel that anger that fans had in 1999 that some fans have today after the Disney movies. So I think we're in a cycle here where you grew up on the Star Wars movies, so you hate the new movies. You grew up on the prequels, now you hate the new movies. And it seems 10 years from now, people will love the sequel movies and hate whatever Star Wars is doing now. But not everyone hated The Phantom Menace, although honestly it was hard to find a lot of good reviews like I said earlier. But there are some. Here are some of the best quotes from the good reviews from 1999. This movie has heart. It's probably the most touching Star Wars movie since Jedi.
The Phantom Menace is still one hell of a show, and that cameo by Jabba the Hutt is the most hysterical thing ever filmed. Darth Maul? Yes, the hype is real. That dude was the bomb.
I was never much of a Star Wars fan, but that all changed tonight when I saw The Phantom Menace. I'm not really sure how, but Lucas did it. Lucas topped The Empire Strikes Back.
I do wish there was a Darth Maul fighting Tusken Raider scene that was rumoured, but other than that, I can't think of anything that would have made this movie better. Is it as good as the first 3? Not at all. Is it bad? Not at all. It's great, but great on its own level.
Now I didn't want to leave you with just a bad and good. There was a lot of Star Wars talk back in 1999 about what would come in Episode 9 and Episode 3. So let's look at some of the theories on the news groups that Star Wars fans had about Episode 2. Did any of these predictions come true? Well, you take a look. Maybe some did. Maybe some were just too wacky to even come true at all. Let's take a look.
Darth Maul isn't dead, as he used the Force to brace his fall, and the lightsaber stopped the bleeding. Maul will be back and sewn together.
Anakin's mother will be killed by Obi-Wan Kenobi, and this will upset an already pretty upset Anakin even more.
One thing is for sure, Aurra Sing is receiving way too much of a build-up to be a throwaway character.
The Jedi will help make a clone army that Palpatine will use against them by Episode 3.
Anakin will fight Darth Maul, now half-robot like Vader, out of revenge, something a Jedi should never do.
Anakin will have to hire Boba Fett to go against the Jedi Council's vote to not free the slaves of Tatooine.
We find out by episode 3 that spinning really isn't a good trick.
Well, that's it. That's the mindset of the news group fans, at least in 1999, with the teaser trailer coming at the end of 1998, and then the release of the Phantom Menace. I haven't really digged into fans' reactions to Attack of the Clones yet, but from what I remember, fans really liked this movie. It took a couple of months to where I started hearing bashing on it. But if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, let me know, and I'll go dig around to the teaser trailer and the fan reaction to Attack of the Clones and see what the mindset was days or weeks after seeing it. I want to give big shout out to Acar Ladder, and I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. Now, he's got like 500,000 YouTube subscribers, and he doesn't need my little channel to give him a shout out, but being that I was working on this video and I saw his video, I kind of felt like, oh man, I'm ripping him off, so I threw away my notes. But I really wanted to talk base on this, and his videos are a lot different than mine. Like I said, also, he focused more on the message boards, and I'm focusing more on the news group. So, big shout out to Ladder. I'll call him Ladder, that way I can say his name. So I'll put a link in the description below to his channel also. Again, he makes a lot better videos than I do, but you don't get to see a pretty handsome face when you watch his videos. Just hear his voice. Here, you get to see the junk face. Anyway, I want to thank you for watching. As always, support this channel. Head over to patreon.com or go to thatjunkman.com. Buy some cool t-shirts. And we'll be back very soon with another video.
Thank you, sir, for that unsolicited testimony.